The desert was alive with heat and chaos. Dust storms rolled across the Afghan canyon like ghosts, swallowing everything in sight. The radio channels buzzed with fragmented calls, panic, confusion, and then silence. A U.S. Navy SEAL team, codenamed Viper 6 *, had gone dark deep inside what the maps called * Canyon Red Zone *. No air support was available. Every jet was either too far, too heavy, or too late. Back at Bagram Air Base, Captain Alyssa Hawk Jennings * stood in front of her A-10 Thunderbolt II, a machine that soldiers affectionately called the * Warthog *. She had flown dozens of missions, each more dangerous than the last, but this one, it was suicide. The canyon was narrow, too tight for fast jets, too riddled with anti-aircraft fire for helicopters. The SEALs were pinned down, surrounded by over 40 insurgents, and ammo was running dry. Even the SEALs gave up. Her commander said grimly, "We've lost visual contact. There's no way to extract them without losing another bird." Alyssa looked at the map. The canyon's ridges looked like jagged knives cutting through the earth. But somewhere in that maze were 7 Americans still breathing. She adjusted her helmet, took a deep breath, and said the words that would later echo through Air Force history. "Then I guess it's time someone dove into hell." The A-10's engines roared to life, shaking the hangar as she taxied down the runway. Ground crews saluted her, though many thought it would be the last time they'd see her alive. "You can't maneuver in that canyon," her wingman warned over the radio, "too narrow for 2 birds. You won't make it out." "I only need one in," she replied. As the Warthog climbed into the Afghan dusk, the sky turned a burnt orange. The A-10 wasn't built for beauty. It was built for survival. Armor-plated like a tank, slow but unbreakable. It could take hits that would tear other jets apart. Alyssa needed every ounce of that toughness tonight. She dropped altitude, hugging the canyon floor, radar silent. Her targeting system began blinking. Multiple hostiles, heat signatures moving in groups. The SEALs were cornered near a cave system halfway through the gorge. "Viper 6, this is Hawk 1, do you read?" she called. A broken voice crackled through. "Hawk 1, this is Viper 6, we're still up. But not for long. We've got tangos on every ridge. Ammo's gone. Extraction impossible." "Not impossible," Alyssa said, locking her GAU-8 cannon on the first ridge. "Just inconvenient." She dove. The 30mm Avenger cannon thundered to life, spitting out shells the size of beer bottles, each one shredding enemy positions. Dust and smoke filled the canyon as the ground erupted in flames. For the first time in hours, the SEALs heard something they hadn't expected. Hope. Alyssa made another pass, flying dangerously low, so close that her wings almost brushed the canyon walls. Tracer rounds shot up from below, stitching the air like fireflies of death. One round tore through her right wing, another shattered her canopy. Glass sliced across her cheek, but she didn't flinch. "Control, this is Hawk 1, she shouted into her mic. "I'm taking heavy fire. Engaging again." "Negative." The command replied. "You're hit. Abort mission." "Not while they're still breathing." She banked left, feeling the A-10 shudder beneath her. The SEALs below were trapped behind an overturned Humvee, running out of time. Alyssa armed her final 2 AGM-65 Maverick missiles. With a prayer under her breath, she aimed at the ridge where enemy RPG teams were setting up. Fox 2. The missiles screamed into the mountain, turning it into a wall of fire. The explosion echoed for miles. Enemy gunfire went silent for a moment, then chaos resumed. "Hawk 1, this is Viper 6, the SEAL commander called. We see your hits. You just bought us 60 seconds. "That's all I need," she said. She flipped the A-10 into a near-vertical dive, something no pilot had ever attempted inside that canyon. The warning alarms screamed in her ears. Altitude low, terrain, terrain. But she kept going, every nerve locked on the target. Below, the SEAL saw the gray A-10 emerge from smoke like an angel of vengeance, its cannons blazing. The roar shook the earth, an iron storm raining down from the sky. When the last round was fired, Alyssa's A-10 was barely holding together. Fuel leaking, hydraulics gone, and one engine burning. She tried to pull up. Nothing. The stick was dead. "Mayday! Mayday! This is Hawk 1. Birds not responding." "Eject! Eject!" command screamed, but she couldn't. The canyon was too tight. An ejection would throw her straight into the cliffs. So she made a decision no one else would have made. She kept flying. "Viper 6, she said calmly, "you're clear. Move to the extraction point." "What about you?" "I'll keep them busy." Her A-10 limped forward, smoke trailing like a black flag. She circled the canyon one last time, drawing enemy fire away from the retreating SEALs. Every bullet that hit her meant one less aimed at them. The SEALs ran through the chaos, reaching the evac zone just as a rescue chopper appeared on the horizon. Behind them, the canyon burned like the mouth of hell. And then, silence. Hawk 1, do you copy? No response. Hawk 1, come in. Only static. The last anyone saw was her A-10 disappearing into the smoke, its right wing missing, its engines roaring defiantly until it vanished into the canyon's depths. For 3 days, rescue teams searched the canyon. They found wreckage, twisted metal, and burnt stone, but no sign of Captain Alyssa Jennings. Her flight recorder was recovered, containing only her final words, "Tell them." The Warthog still flying? Months later, satellite imagery revealed something strange. Deep inside the canyon, near the crash site, someone had painted a message on the rock using parts of the A-10's fuselage. The words read, "Never leave them behind." No one knew how it got there. Some said the SEALs did it in her honor. Others whispered that she survived, living somewhere beyond the mountains. But one thing was certain. Every SEAL who made it home that night owed their life to her. When news of her mission reached the Pentagon, Alyssa Jennings was posthumously awarded the Air Force Cross *, the second highest military decoration for valor. The president himself spoke her name during the ceremony. "She flew into a canyon of death," he said, "so others could see another sunrise." Her squadron painted her call sign, Hawk 1 *, on every A-10 in the fleet. Pilots began referring to the mission as Operation Angel Dive *. It became a symbol of what the Air Force stood for: courage, sacrifice, and never backing down when the odds were impossible. Every year, on the anniversary of that mission, surviving members of Viper 6 return to the base. They stand by the old hangar where her A-10 once stood, its outline painted on the floor like a ghost's shadow. And they tell the new recruits her story, the woman who flew into the canyon when even the SEALs gave up. Years later, in 2023, a drone pilot surveying the same canyon caught a brief glint of light from deep inside one of its caves. The image, when enhanced, showed something that stunned everyone, a faint silhouette of an A-10's tail, mostly intact, resting beneath the rocks. Was it Hawk 1? A recovery team was dispatched, but before they could reach the site, a sandstorm buried the entire area again. Nature had claimed her resting place, keeping her legend sealed in dust and silence. Today, new A-10 pilots train with her mission footage, learning the same maneuver that once seemed impossible. They call it the Hawk Dive, a near-vertical descent through narrow terrain under enemy fire. Every time they execute it successfully, they whisper the same words into their comms before climbing back to safety. Hawk 1 still flying. For the men of Viper 6, life after that night was never the same. Their commander, Lt. Mason Reed, wrote in his journal, "Courage isn't about surviving. It's about knowing you might not, and going anyway." The canyon where it happened was later renamed Jennings Pass *. No map officially listed it, but soldiers in the region used the name with reverence. Decades later, cadets at the Air Force Academy study her mission under Heroic Tactical Maneuvers *. Her portrait hangs in the Hall of Valor, showing her smiling beside her Warthog, dust on her boots, fire in her eyes. Her parents once said she loved flying, not because it made her powerful, but because it made her free. That freedom became the lifeline for 7 SEALs who were ready to die, until one woman showed them that giving up wasn't an option. In the silence of the desert, the wind still whispers through the canyon walls. Locals say that on quiet nights, you can hear the distant rumble of jet engines, low, steady, unbroken. And sometimes, they say, a gray shadow streaks through the sky just before dawn, banking hard over the ridges before fading into the clouds. Maybe it's the wind, maybe it's her. But to the men who survived, to the pilots who still fly the A-10, and to every soldier who's ever faced the impossible, it doesn't matter. Because they know one truth: heroes don't disappear, they just fly higher. Like the video and subscribe the channel Story Sphere.